listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
Hey, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us. No, I mean it. On 8 12 15. That's simple as that. Or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the Absolute Radio website. So I've had a complete showbiz whirl of a week.
Have you?
Well, not really, but I opened this week.
Oh,
I wasn't
lovely.
expecting it.
Another opening, another show.
Exactly. I opened at the Leicester Square Theatre, my stand-up show.
How was it?
It was, the show was absolutely fine, but the fruit bowls, I got 2 fruit, because when people, people buy opening night gifts,
Oh, yeah.
often they send alcohol,
Oh, yeah.
and that obviously doesn't apply to me, because,
No, you find yourself on the receiving end of a lot of cheese
I do.
for that reason.
And, but I had a fruit bowl, 2 fruit bowls arrived.
Lovely.
That's a good gift, I think.
And I'm in baskets is what I mean. I mean, they're big.
Great.
And it's quite exciting, I got to tell you. I once had a fruit bowl at Thames Studios in my dressing room, and had a coconut in it.
No.
Imagine that.
No.
Imagine 3 minutes, Mr. Skinner. Hold on, you got a hammer.
It was quite a 70s gift, a coconut. It was all bouncy bars and exotic.
I'd already had previously. I'd had a pineapple, which I thought was quite a big thing to take on before a show.
Yeah.
I'd rather
because-
just have a can of Lilt.
You need a knife.
Without the middleman.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
umbongo.
You're right. But, I've never had umbongo.
What?
No.
I wonder where they drink it.
I don't know. I love all that. I love the fruit thing. So for the rest of the week, I've been eating fruit constantly, and it's one of the few. Yes,
Ooh,
it's one of the few times. Well,
I'll do it
to,
again.
when my friend Con used to live with me, he used to say it was like being on Animal Magic. Do you remember that programme with Johnny Morris?
Yeah.
When the lemure is sitting at the side with eating stuff. He said, I'm sitting watching the telly, I can see you picking stuff out the fruit bowl and nibbling and then...
Careful though, Frank, because I've been on the Beverly Hills diet,
Oh, yeah.
which is composed entirely of fruit.
Why,
Is
did you
it?
have a Beverly Hills belly?
No, it's called the Beverly Hills diet,
Yeah.
but just be careful on that one.
Okay.
Just
I don't care.
make sure-
I'm happy to die by fomentation.
No, just make sure you're near a latrine.
Yeah.
often.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on. I've got the constitution of an institution.
It's the effect, though, isn't it, of the fibre. It can,
Oh, shut up, you two.
it can
God,
create a
I don't
knocking at the
drink,
back
I don't
door.
smoke, I don't do drugs. Now you're telling me I can't have fruit.
No, I'm just saying if people come back and see you, you might want to leave it a while.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't have too much right before a long show. That's the...
not only that,
advice.
I'm not listening to the doubters. Haters gotta hate.
That's right, yeah. It's all
yeah.
about the fruit.
What sort of fruit did you get then,
Well,
Frank?
that's a very good question. 'Cause
Oh, okay.
I have eaten several pieces of fruit this week that I could not identify by name.
Really?
And I thought that's exciting, because how often do you eat stuff that you don't know the name of?
Kumquat.
I had kumquat.
had some of them
African
last week.
cucumber.
What?
That's lovely.
That's not a fruit, surely.
It is.
Sorry, I thought that was an entry in your diary. I ate what the song calls strange fruit.
Strange fruit.
Yeah, and I still don't know what it was.
Sharon fruit, maybe?
It passed like pips in the night.
What did it look like?
Well, there was one,
Is
for
this today's
example.
texting? What have I eaten?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? The one.
What was it?
It's
It'll be
cheaper
quite
than-
a brief texting on my part.
it's easier than a stomach pump.
Yeah.
No, I ate one that looked like from the outside. At first, I thought it was a lime, but then it was too hard and green. It had like a sort of avocado type skin, and then when I opened it up, it was completely pink
No.
inside.
Oh, I wonder
bright
what that one
pink.
is.
It's amazing
Starfish.
what you can do now.
That's the first one. Then what was that?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Set up the texting. trying to establish what fruit it was.
Yeah.
Just to give you a sample of 3 of the texts we've already received, 221 says guava with an exclamation mark. No other words in the text. That sounds like a passion fruit, Frank, says Julian Peniston.
No, I know a passion fruit, because it's like jelly in a jiffy bag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A passion fruit.
It's
No, it wasn't that.
Very good description.
And 304, hi Frank, was the mysterious fruit a custard pear by any chance? I had one a few weeks ago in a veg fruit box delivery and was pleasantly surprised by the fact it did actually vaguely taste of custard. That's from Haley.
Well, I mean...
3 texts, 3 different guesses.
Yeah, exactly. I like the sound of a custard pear. It didn't taste custardy to me.
I like 134 the best. He simply says, it was a guava.
Okay. Well, maybe it was don't they use guava as, isn't that some sort of stimulant of some kind? Guava.
That'd be good before the show, wouldn't it?
Yeah, perfect.
Pep and vigour up.
Red Bull, Frank? No! Pass us that, you see that limelight thing?
Well, you've got your non-alcoholic wine now.
Yes. I got a case of non-alcoholic wine it's my birthday this week, and the team bought me some non-alcoholic wine, which I've become slightly obsessed with.
It's definitely non-alcoholic, Daisy, isn't
Definitely.
it? 100%.
We'll soon find out. If it's 100%, we'll definitely soon find out. I had a strange thing as well happen this week. I've got a blue shirt that I've worn now for 3 different stand-up gigs, and I do about 90 minutes on stage, and it's hot.
Oh, yeah.
And I've also worn it
You're in a
the
suit.
I'm
It's
in
not
a
like just the
suit
shirt.
over the top and a tie. And I've worn it 4 days as well. I wore it for meetings yesterday, and it still smells fresh as a daisy. Present company accepted.
I don't know if I can believe that.
It
How
does.
Can that be?
Honestly, it's beautiful.
What you mean is people are too frightened to tell you.
No, I've had a really good,
But you want it to smell nice, don't you? You're sniffing it.
No, I don't.
This is going to smell
nice. I don't.
Nice.
At first, I just fully expected, and now it's become a bit. It's moving into that area I would call supernatural, which is making me... Do you remember that Cary Grant film when he was an angel? And he gave someone...
He didn't wear a drip-dry shirt, FYI.
No, but he gave someone a glass, and they poured drink into it, and then they drank. And the bottle that they had never ran out, so they could drink forever.
I've seen footage of Tommy Cooper doing that as well.
Yeah, well, this was in the... You know, my dad, I have to say, whenever I mention Cary Grant, that every time he appeared on the telly, or was mentioned in any context, my dad would say, Cary Grant, from the slums of Bristol. Happily, they never met. Might not have gone that well. But anyway, it's still fresh and clean now. I could have worn it today and everything would have been lovely. So
I'm quite glad you didn't.
Yeah,
but
me
you
too.
mentioned drip dry. I don't know if you remember those shirts, Alan. Do you remember that?
I've got a vague recollection of them.
You didn't. You used to wash them and then you just hang them up soaking wet, and then when they dried, they had no creases or anything. And you could just
They were
wear
good
them.
to go.
Right, that sounds...
Or good to go
Absolutely.
depending on what you wanted to look like.
Yeah.
If you wanted to look like you presented World of Sport, they were good to go.
It's just like these machine washable suits that they sell in some
No, but
high
there's-
streets.
Don't you ever think though that you see some technology and you think, why hasn't this caught on? Do you remember Matey?
Matey Bubble Bath.
Bath
Matey
foam.
Bubble Bath. Their
Oh,
big
yeah.
brag was that they cleaned the bath as well. So at the end of the bath,
yes.
you Matey's a bottle of fun. It cleans the bath as well. Yeah. And he thought,
There was the
why
pink one.
doesn't all bath items, why don't they clean the bath as well? That's a massive advantage.
You could double it up, use your toilet brush as a hairbrush. Everything could be dual purpose in there, couldn't it?
No, you've just gone. Now you've gone into the ridiculous. This was someone who... They have the technology to make bath things that clean the bath as well, and they're not using it. You know, you tell me why that is happening. No, can you actually tell me?
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We're talking about Matey, which cleaned the bath as well as the child
Yeah.
on Absolute Radio. 693 has texted us to say, yes, Matey, clean fun, clean kids and a clean bath. No skin left on, though.
Why, that can't be true, can it?
That is just the opinion of 693, we
Yes,
should
I've got to
add.
say that is not the official opinion of Absolute. Though I do think maybe Matey is gone. I haven't seen it for a while.
Has it gone the way of Sunny Delight?
Has that gone?
Did you bathe in that? That's the kind of
That would have
childhood you
cleaned your
had.
bath.
Hey?
That would have cleaned your bath, wouldn't it?
Well, I just think it's we should revisit that technology.
We've also had an update from Hayley, who said, "Me again, Frank. The custard pear didn't taste of custard until I knew it was a custard pear."
Oh, you see, it's psychosomatic.
And then somebody else has said, "Hi guys, it's a dragon fruit. Google it. Yum."
Oh, well, it wasn't very. It was very.
Frank's gone a bit twisted fire starter.
Although it was pink,
Psychosomatic.
although it was pink, it wasn't that tasty. It was quite bland. Maybe that's the thing, that you call it whatever you call it. You call it custard fruit. You call it a mustard fruit.
African cucumber.
Yeah,
And,
you can call it a Sunny Delight fruit, and it'll taste to when those are, because it's a blank page. You know what I mean? Some people are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, we fill
They
in the
have no
void.
personality, and they're like chameleons. In
Don't
your
like the
comment.
way you're
They
giving
just-
eye contact with me while saying they have no personality.
I've never seen
Well, I'm
anyone get
saying-
so angry over a bowl of fruit either.
I am saying that. You're not saying you, for goodness sake. And
We've had a
also,
slight-
what happened to those trousers where the seams were stitched in? Do you remember those?
Oh, the hems, yeah.
They were
Ready-made hems.
They stitched. I mean, the actual seam was stitched in.
Oh, I
So
thought
you
even
know
hems.
What you mean? What
So you
are
didn't have
saying?
to press them. So what you'd put a line of stitching at either side of the seam. You know
It
when
sounds
no,
ugly though.
not the seam. You know when you
you
press
think?
when you press. Oh yeah, they were a bit ugly,
Right.
but you didn't have to press them.
What era
What
are we
price
talking?
laziness?
Oh, I'd say they were 70s probably.
Like, would our Keith have worn those?
No, our Keith was quite trendy in his youth.
Was he?
Bear in mind, he was into Bloodwind Pig.
Of course he was. How silly of me.
Yes.
Well, I like the fact that we're discussing the fruit at this level, because after the show last week, when we all went for brunch, we were discussing. You raised.
Oh, yeah.
You mooted the possibility of what were you going to eat as your after-show snack.
Well, I have this thing. See, when I come off stage, I go home. Everyone's
Yeah.
in bed usually. I sit down alone in the kitchen and
Just weep. Yeah.
and I weep a little, and I scream 7 or 8 times. It's just not working. I keep shouting that, and then I'm hungry, but I don't want to sit down. I don't want to cook that time of the night. So what should I have in that
You've just been into it
window?
with 2,000 people and you go home alone.
Yeah, exactly. And what worries me is the fact that we had this conversation. I know it involves show business and what, but it felt like the sort of conversation anyone could have.
Frank got so depressed during this conversation.
Yeah.
I said, because then we had another conversation that was quite run-of-the-mill, and I said ordinary conversations are like bosses, they come in pairs.
And
I like to talk about weird stuff.
mine
I know
and
you do.
yours, our respective happiness levels in that chat were like a seesaw, because I was really enjoying trying
You
to
loved
think
it.
of what. When I said, "Why don't you have a chicken salad? That'll be filling and tasty," and you went, "I'm not eating salad."
Oh, what about when I said, lovely suggestion, what about boiled egg and soldiers? I'm not going to cook.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to cook that time of the night. And who has a salad at sort of 11:30 at night?
A chicken salad though, a bit of meat to
Oh,
make it feel
Ridiculous.
worthwhile.
That's, if you're going to be ridiculous. Anyway, last night I got in, and what did I have? Crudité.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Matey is still available. I
That's
deliver it
tremendous, isn't it?
daily.
Ooh.
That's from Paul, delivery driver for a well-known pharmaceutical and medical high street store, 955. Can't imagine what store that is.
You see, so it can't be, it can't do any damage, as it wouldn't be on the market.
No.
I'm going to get some. I don't see why only children should use it.
No.
307 says she got some Lady Matey yesterday in the pink bottle.
Oh, I bet she did. What's that got to do with anything?
Exactly.
Why couldn't I use Matey? Children, if anything, get dirtier than adults, don't they? So it would certainly get me clean.
Yeah.
Children are filthy.
You can tell how clean I am. My shirt's come off absolutely dry and fresh.
Anyway, before you played that song, did you say that you went back last night after your show and you ate crudité?
Yes.
What? Meaning like little
I had an evening of crudité.
carrot batons?
Crudité.
I had, yes, I had.
There wasn't enough crudité in the show. You
No,
went back
there
and had
isn't,
more
there isn't enough
crudité.
anymore. So I went back.
Last time I saw crudité, and this is genuine, was at Arsenal. That's what they eat at Arsenal.
Wow.
That's how posh they are.
Well, this was. I just thought it's a good way of doing it because you don't want to get in, and I don't want to get like some terrible unhealthy stuff.
Yeah.
So I had a big tub of tara masalata and crudité, and I channel surfed for an hour.
Carrot batons, is that what you mean?
Well, they weren't batons; they were medallions, as it turned out. They'd gone that way.
Carrot medallions.
they'd gone
Oh,
across.
slices.
Yeah, they'd gone across.
What were you dipping them in, may I ask?
Tara
Tara
masalata.
masalata.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the tarum a bit. Okay, I've never heard tarum masalata said like that.
That's
How
it
do you
talks.
say it?
Oh, slightly less aggression.
You say tara masalata. Well, I had some tara masalata. Anyway, it worked a treat.
Oh. So is that what you're going to have now?
I'm not having that every night.
Oh, okay.
Is that
Hey,
Zeke?
you know what would be
But
nice?
that's one night less to worry about, is all I'm saying.
Hey,
One night less to worry about. Is that how you see meals?
I
It's
thought
One
about
night
it.
less to worry
Except for
about.
the title of motorboat.
Is this a, I've thought
My
about
tour diary.
I've thought about your post-gig snack. I think probably 7 times this week,
Really?
and one of them that
Yeah.
I thought, oh, that'd be good, was some hot chocolate and some malt loaf with a bit of butter on it.
He'll get worried about getting fat.
Yummy.
He said that. He said, I can't have carbs.
Hot chocolate and malt loaf.
That'd be
I
nice,
think
wouldn't
it'd be nice if I was 78.
But imagine as you were walking onto your gig, thinking, not long now, we'll get this over with.
I
and
see,
then
I get your point.
You must work off, a few cows doing that gig.
You know what?
Oh,
I
he
think
strides around, doesn't he?
Yeah, oh, he does.
strangely I do lose weight
You
during
do.
a stand-up thing, and I don't feel like I'm a very energetic performer.
It's the adrenaline,
A bit
love.
like Mick Jagger.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Well,
anyway,
I think you should go Mediterranean paysan.
What's that?
I'm talking vine leaves. I'm talking
Is there
Dom
anything-
Young.
mozzarella, burrata. Lovely.
Where am I going to get that?
Go to a shop.
What at that time of the night?
There
and
are
get
lots
killed?
of wonderful delicatessens.
I bet 1 in 3 people who go to a shop in London that time of the night get killed.
Do you think?
Yeah.
No one gets killed buying mozzarella and vine leaves.
No,
That's the rule.
they get killed by their fellow customers. They were all drug-crazed and drunk. Let's face it, that's life in the big city. Those of you listening to this in little villages might think I exaggerate. But let's face it, I'd rather die in an evening shop than live in a small village.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Shall we get to email corner?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, I'm going to play it, listen! We're getting email corner! I'm sorry, it's a bit strange. So I just discovered my some jingles I forgot I'd got.
What on earth is going on over there? It's like Buzz with a Fisher Price kit.
An activity centre.
Yes.
Okay.
So, email.
We're off!
The first email is from Dean.
Oh, yeah.
And, He's at Birmingham. He says, Hi folks. It was announced this week that Jeff Lynne is to be the latest recipient of a star on Birmingham's Broad Street. See the yellow chap?
Yes.
Now that Frank has announced tour dates at the City Symphony Hall, which is situated on said road, does he intend to show Buzz his star and perhaps even give it a little clean-up? All the best, Dean.
I'd love to turn up on Broad Street in Birmingham and give my star. We should say that there is a thing called the Birmingham Walk of Stars, is it called? And
Walk of Fame.
we all went down there.
Walk of Shame, I turned it into, but that's
I
another
think
story.
it's called. Anyway, it doesn't matter what
Okay.
it's called. We went down for my ceremony when I had
I loved it.
my star ceremoniously.
My first guesting on the show, that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
history.
came in as
Yeah.
a guest.
Did you come to the star ceremony?
No, I wasn't
Thanks.
invited.
Anyway, it was
I think
very
I
exciting.
texted you. I said I'm going down a storm on Broad Street or something.
I haven't seen the
I did
star
so well.
for a while. I would like to imagine me turning up and cleaning it.
Who are
What?
you next to? The man from Slade?
I don't.
The man from Slade, not the. No, we're all spread out a bit. I think.
Oh, are you?
I must go
I
and
thought
check
I
again.
seem to recall you being quite near Flair's nightclub.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think Noddy Holder is outside Flair's nightclub.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the
That's
prime spot.
quite
Let's face it.
What could one use? Brown sauce. That's the classic get a shine on stuff, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Because I tell you, on continuing the showbiz thing, when I moved house, I discovered my my Perrier Award. I won the Perrier Award in 1991. It's all right. It's gone very off colour through neglect.
Your act.
Yeah, no, the award, and I'd like to get it shiny again. And I was thinking about brown sauce. What do you think?
Well,
yeah, give
as
it a
it
whirl.
happens, we've had an email a text from someone saying that they use Coca-Cola to clean their toilet, let it soak overnight, and the results are amazing. Maybe Coca-Cola. I've heard people clean their jewellery using Coca-Cola.
Really?
Yeah.
I was thinking I could just get some Matey and take the award in the bath with me.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
We are.
There's no getting around it.
Well, we have had a text saying Emily's cleaning show could feature your star cleaning issue. I don't like this idea that your star is definitely dirty.
No, but people do walk on it, so you're going to expect
Well,
a certain
Mark
amount of wear
has
and tear.
suggested 240. Having the stars on Broad Street makes me wonder which star has been. I'm afraid he uses the word vomited on the most.
Oh, I should think all of them. Broad Street is it's a crazy place on a
It's
weekend
Party
night,
Street, isn't it?
Oh man,
Was when I was there.
I've only played the Symphony Hall once before, and it was a charity event, and Rusty Lee was on
Great.
with her jazz band.
Brilliant.
Eh?
Is that a euphemism?
No,
Was it good?
that's not a fair question. and
Don't know what was unfair about that.
Does she
Tell
sing
me off
Rusty
air.
Lee then?
yeah, what do you think she did with the jazz band?
I don't know. Cook
laugh.
maybe because
I
that's
love
what
the
she
fact
was
that
famous for.
I love that she
Famous
was
for
on.
laughing
She
and
was on the
cooking.
bassoon. And then it ended. I was hosting, and it ended with Ron Atkinson, Big Ron.
Mm-hmm.
He sang "My Way," accompanied only by Nigel Kennedy on violin, playing
No.
sort of playing in and out of the melody.
Are you sure this wasn't a 1980s dream?
No,
you
it was
had?
true. It was fantastic. Ron and Nigel Kennedy's "My Way."
I worry about Ron.
It's the best. It's better
Just
than.
worry about Ron with that personnel. I don't like it.
It was a fun night.
Good.
I look forward to going back there, and I will check out the Star definitely.
And I believe we were going to continue in email corner. Dear Frank, Cock RL, that's what I've been called.
Is that like Will I Am?
I think it is.
It's like
yeah.
George R.R. Martin.
I'm fine with Cock RL and the delicious Miss M.
Oh, lovely.
Greetings from Singapore.
Oh, lovely.
Let's
In-
have some. See if we've got some suitable Singapore type
Sort
music.
of imagine yourself in Raffles. That's lovely, Frank.
Yeah, that's sort of Singaporean.
Isn't that,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
the Bells of West Wales or whatever it was that we were talking about last
It was
week?
the radio. It started on radio. The Bells of Wales.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, big hit on 4.
Greetings from Singapore. In a recent podcast, you discussed 1001 Carpet Cleaner and segued
yes.
immediately into an appraisal of the personal hygiene of Shia LaBeouf. Unfortunately, due to the proximity of the two topics and the fact that 1001 and Shia LaBeouf are syllabically identical, I found myself singing Shia LaBeouf cleans a big, big carpet for less than £half all weekend.
Of course, Shia LaBeouf would do that, but only if he was playing the Shake and Vat lady in a biopic.
Yes.
That's part of his method preparation.
Well, let's face it, he's going to be soon, the way things are going.
Can I say it is not syllabically identical? 1001 and Shia LaBeouf. 1001 Shia LaBeouf. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. If it was Belinda Carlisle, would it work perfectly? Try it.
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text us on 81215. Follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or email the Absolute website direct. Going so well all in one breath, and then I said website.
Webster's site.
No.
It's all right. It's all right.
I tell you what we need to talk about this morning, Frank. What about Belieber, Justin Belieber?
Well, you know, he is a friend of the show.
He is.
I like to think now.
Although you did call him a very great fool.
He is a very great fool. I think that's fair enough.
Well,
He's very grateful.
I don't think he's at all grateful.
He's in a
one of his
whole
problems.
heap of trouble today.
He is.
This week, yeah. I mean,
You might have heard about this story.
yeah,
It's been quite massive. It's a yellow Lamborghini, was it?
and a red one.
I think it was a hire car.
His
I think it was.
No.
Yeah.
Well, I hope he's got excess cover.
Yeah.
That's what I hope.
that's a very discreet car, isn't it? The yellow Lamborghini.
Hang
you want
on.
to go about your business unnoticed.
I don't want to stick... I mean, I am accused of dullness on occasion, but isn't he too young to hire a car? I thought you had to be 25.
I blame Jeremy.
Jeremy...
His dad.
Oh, I thought you meant Clarkson for a
No.
second.
I thought you meant Kyle.
Getting him into cars.
No,
I blame Jeremy for everything.
I think, yeah, Jeremy.
Where can we begin on the dad? I mean,
Jeremy
the gold
Believer.
earring. I don't like a dad with a gold earring.
No.
Unless he's a pirate. I don't like a beanie hat on a dad.
No.
I don't like a low-slung tracksuit on a dad.
No.
Or a vest top.
Where do you stand on a dad that doesn't have anything to do with his son until he becomes a world-famous pop star? Where do you stand on
I'm
that?
fine with that. I think they've got to learn to stand on their own 2 feet.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just. I think we were all looking at the pictures, thinking, "Well, that can't be the dad, can he? That rapper bloke can't be the dad."
Yeah.
I imagine. Is there a possibility that Jeremy Bieber used to be like a suit and tie bloke who had an ordinary
Yeah.
office job, and then his son became Justin Bieber, and he went a bit. This is what happens when a nice family go G.
Do you think?
Yes, that's what I think. Because they all, even Justin looks like, you know, there's a nice lad in there, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I don't know if they were ever a nice family. I think they were always a bit Jeremy Kyle, green room.
But wasn't Justin, when he started off, all sort of poppy and lovely?
Yeah, yeah.
He
Yes,
was like
he was.
He was like Ollie Murs.
Yeah.
They were young when they had the children. I'm just saying they were 18, 19.
But that
Yeah, the dad looks
but that
younger
can
than
bond, that can bring them together.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking people for having children too young.
I'm saying nothing.
No, I do worry, though. I worry about the dad. I think the dad is... I'm more worried about him than I am Justin. I think Justin will pull through.
I don't think he's a good
Justin's-
influence. Well, like
No, he's a bad
Justin's
influence.
management. I mean,
For sure.
everyone knows what happened. We don't need to recap. There was so much. There was the DUI. There was
Yes, you know, I've never heard the phrase DUI before.
Right.
Which surprises me with your
under the
history.
influence.
Driving under the influence, surely.
Yes.
Drinking
Yes.
under the influence is what people do, isn't it?
I meant...
That's what happens after the first
I
drink.
meant drinking under the influence of driving. Let's get our priorities right.
There was the DUI. There was the drag racing, which I like that everyone's now an expert on drag racing. You know, when there's a phrase used in the media in a big news story,
Yeah.
and everyone talks about drag racing.
Yeah, Grayson Perry was third.
Resisting arrest.
Oh, yeah.
He was rude to the cops.
He was. He swore at the police, and he smiled on the mugshot. You're not supposed to smile.
Why
at
did
the
he
mugshot.
do that?
I don't think that's that bad. We're
You're
talking
not
about a
supposed to do
person...
that. It's like a passport photo. The rules is rules.
But he knows
was
about being
strung
photographed,
out.
doesn't he? He's a guy
He was
who's
strung
used to
out.
being photographed. So a camera's near him and he goes, click, he puts the face on. It's just a natural reaction.
do you know
It's
him
like,
and his dad? Sorry,
it's
carry
like you and joking. you do it all the time, so therefore he does it all the time.
on. You do.
Made me feel much better about my skin, though.
Listen, what
that picture?
Justin?
Oh.
You know what that is?
Oh.
So I read. 10 years of Matey.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
This Bieber, I mean, people keep saying, oh, he's only 19, he's only a kid, go easy on him. But then you read the sentence that he refused to board his private plane, and that's when I start to lose sympathy a little bit.
Is it? Is that your rule?
Yeah, if they board their private... Although, this is coming from someone who said, in between links just now, when I was in Palermo with Dolce & Gabbana.
That
I
is
did
true.
say that,
You
yeah.
did open an anecdote like that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't work him out. In a way, he's super modern. He hangs around with rappers and that. And then drinking and driving is so 1978. And there's nothing... It's not comical, is it?
No.
Drinking and driving.
Yeah.
No.
Although his dad apparently did close the street off for the race. Yeah,
The drag racing.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite responsible of him.
Yeah, this is the kind of influence his dad is. Yeah. And I'm thinking of getting drunk and then drag race in my yellow Lamborghini I've hired. Well, let me give you a word of advice. Let's close the street first.
That's all right, isn't it? He couldn't talk him out of it, so he took a preventative measure.
You know, they got matching tattoos in exactly the same place on their sides.
What, Jeremy and
they?
Justin?
Yeah, Jeremy and Justin, they had matching tattoos. There's a lovely picture of them showing all the sort of bandaged aftermath of the tattoo.
That's nice as well.
If that was my dad, I would...
And what does it say, the tattoo?
What?
Jesus!
Does it?
Yeah.
Does it really? So they're in...
Are they part of your lot then, Frank?
Apparently,
they're in
he's...
your section
they're your-
of the Venn diagram.
Your
apparently
brethren.
Justin Bieber,
He's a believer.
he, like me, follows the Nazarene.
Oh.
Yeah. Who would have thought that? Except he follows him in a yellow Lamborghini.
That dad doesn't look he doesn't look very Benedictine.
I
monk,
imagine
that dad.
Jesus had been an Austin A40.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Humble.
Hillman Imp, I see him in, actually.
Bottle green.
Lovely.
Lovely.
I tell you what I like when they read out the cost of the bail, and he was trying... Bieber. Did you see that? Bieber was in the... There's a bit of a split screen thing going on.
Did they?
Yeah.
The judge was reading out, and he said the cost of that offence, $500. It was all such a, that's small fry to Bieber. He was
Small
trying not to
potatoes.
laugh. Yeah.
But he even looked good in that sort of red prison wear.
He did. He's a good-looking boy, isn't he?
Oh, in the Walk of Shame suit, yeah.
He did, though. He looked like... if you can imagine a Virgin Airlines stewardess without the blouse, just in the V jacket.
I do, frequently.
Yeah.
Oh. You mean with the jacket?
But he did. He still
sicko.
looked great. But I'll tell you what I noticed. There's a side view of his head, which I don't know if I've ever seen him in profile before. And I think even at his young age, he might be a bit concerned about a bit of receding hair.
Yes.
Because he's got a weird part in which so that he's brought a bit of hair forward to cover the top corners. You know the top corner of your forehead, which is where the hair tends to go first. Yeah, he's manufactured a bit of a sweep over for those top corners.
And the father figure is in the pictures in a baseball cap. You do the maths.
This is a family crippled at the prospect of oncoming baldness.
Yeah.
They've decided to live life in the fast lane. Who can blame them for
Literally.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
It's Frank's birthday on, is it Tuesday?
It is Tuesday.
So we've got cakes in the studio.
We've got
Just thought I'd
cupcakes.
inform the listenership, the readership. We've actually had a text from Nugget, who's a regular, saying, "Morning, Frank, happy birthday for Tuesday.
Thank you.
Having kids too young in life isn't something you can be accused of, is it?"
No.
He says.
I think I sort of
Good point,
intimate.
well
I
made.
acknowledge that, I think, by inference.
Anyway, we're discussing Bieber, the believer, and his dad, who we think is a baddie. I mean,
Well, I don't know if I think that. I just think that's just what happens when your dad's 38.
He's less of a baddie,
I'm
more of
38.
a roadie.
But even at 38, should you have one of those little sticky out king top beards? And
you know,
stuff?
the biggest problem for me is that he's a man that wears a V-neck T-shirt.
He wears a vest, I think you'll find.
I don't get on well with V-neck T-shirts. I just
No, I
think
know
they
what you
look
mean.
like,
Too many tats as
especially
well.
those drop, low ones.
No, I think you have to wear those when you're arrested.
Yeah, the orange suit. Anyway, we're going
They've
to
gone for a
continue to
V-neck in prison.
Canada news.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
I think that's so they can, in case you're one of those people who wears one of those file, those file pendants that's got like a file on it.
No
instead
buttons
of-
allowed. I know this is a bit controversial, but can I say that orange prison outfit is tremendous loungewear.
Was it orange? I thought it was red.
No, it's orange. They always wear orange.
Well, my mum thinks that orange drains your energy. She told us that when me and my brothers were watching
You better
football.
not stop hanging around that penitentiary then.
We were
I
watching
must admit, I do feel a bit limp on a Wednesday.
Me and my brothers were watching football, and Holland were playing, and my mum came in and said, "I can't believe they play football in orange. It drains your energy."
Well, you know that they've never won the World
It's
Cup.
nice that she thinks they've got a choice of what strip they wear. And at the time they were winning, I think 5-1.
But they've
To be
never
fair,
won
they
the
looked tired.
They've never won
never-
the World Cup because they start well, you see, and then by the end of
Right.
it, they're absolutely exhausted.
And of course, they never
I
need
always
to wear their
loved
away
that.
kit because everybody else has got
I don't
orange.
know
haven't
you,
they?
but I find the Hare Krishnas very sluggish.
They never get anything done.
No.
We continue to other Canada news now, not just Bieber.
Okay.
Marmite falls foul of Canada's laws because it is enriched with vitamins, and so a chap who lives in Saskatoon...
That's against their laws, to be enriched with vitamins.
Also, I like the way the cockerel sounded a bit like the health correspondent on the One Show there.
That's what I was going for. There's a man who sells British food in one of those shops, those shops that expats go to buy Walker's crisps and such like.
I mean, go home if you're that desperate.
Good point. That's nearly always the
Thanks,
thought
you, Kit.
in conversation with any expat.
Would you, if you
Thanks,
went
Nigel.
abroad, do you think you'd be going to a shop to buy Marmite?
But it's like-
Yes, I did when I lived in Australia. We did often.
Did you?
Did you?
But Australians have got Vegemite.
We got Vegemite,
surely
yeah,
that's
it's not as
fine.
nice.
Yeah. Well, this chap who's got a British food shop in Canada has been
You know
told...
what, I'm glad this has come up, because I don't think we've talked about food enough this morning.
Tony Badger, he's called.
Tony Badger, his name is, which is ironic. Surely he should be the person telling people not to stock certain foods, because he'd be badgering them, wouldn't he? No? No? Badger? Tony Badger?
Just a minute. I think that's turned it round.
That's
The thing
fine,
I love most about that was the 4-second pause.
He's also not allowed to sell Iron Brew, which seems unjust.
That's absolute. I love Iron Brew.
Me too.
Well,
it's
don't
great,
get Al
isn't it?
started on Iron Brew.
Love it.
Don't send me any freaks.
Drains your energy, though, if you put it in a glass. If you can see it.
Oh, of course, yeah. It's the opposite of Red Bull.
I think
It's the drains your energy drink.
it's
Oh, I'm feeling a bit hyper. Got any Iron Brew? Oh, relaxing, this Iron Brew.
I think you'll find it's linked to hyperactivity, the Iron Brew drink. It's like...
Oh, it's that kind of talk that takes the fun out of life.
And also, whenever I'm in Scotland, I don't look around and see a lot of hyperactivity. I really don't.
Yeah, but you're a hardy bunch, aren't you?
And can I say that the idea that Iron Brew is linked with hyperactivity is not an official view of Absolute Radio. It's mere
It
chit-chat.
contains colouring linked to that.
Again. The fact that it contains colouring linked to hyperactivity is mere hearsay. I think we'll play some music while I found my lawyer.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
We were, before the break, discussing Poncer 4R, which is the additive that has been linked to hyperactivity and is in Iron Brew.
It is in Iron Brew.
Yeah, it says it in the article.
See?
It says it right here, but it's not. It doesn't
But
appear on the approved
if you
food
repeat a
list.
libel, it's still a libel.
Oh, is that right?
I like Iron Brew, can I say that?
I
It's
love it.
less hyperactive than me.
I absolutely love
That
it.
wasn't a rhetorical question. Who's less
Well,
hyperactive than me? Yeah, you can't name it, can you?
But it was banned. It's banned for import in Canada. And Tony Badger, the man with the shop in concern,
He got a cob on.
he did. But excellent point that he makes towards the end. Or is it him? It's a different person makes this point. For a country that
This
allows
is
one to
broadcasting
buy,
at its very best.
for a country that allows one to buy firearms, guns, bullets, stopping a soft drink suitable for all ages seems a little ludicrous. That's his point.
That would work well if it was America, not Canada, which has similar gun laws to us. Thank you.
Canada doesn't.
Yes, it does. I'm not going to argue with this about... Yes, it does.
Look, hold on.
Similar.
Just a
You
minute.
have to have it
similar.
be registered in Canada.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Come on, guys.
his point
My
still
only
stands.
dispute is what's the difference between a gun and a firearm?
I don't know. Ask
What-
Bieber's dad. He looks like the type who'd know.
Why list them both?
Well, that's true.
Are you
yeah.
worried
Guns,
about the,
firearms.
Tautology, is that what you're
I'm worried about the...
Tim says, I once met a girl who was bright orange with the overuse of fake tan. She certainly drained my energy. That Tim.
I'm loving it.
That would be funny if it wasn't me.
If I was going to ban something, it would be apricot yogurt. Speaking of orange,
Really?
yes.
Oh.
I would say I love all food,
Yeah.
but I found that apricot yogurt, which I would never buy in a million years, because the apricot, let's face it, is at the low end of the food choice,
Oh, yeah.
isn't it?
Oh, I totally agree with
Do
you,
you ever
Frank.
go out and buy apricot?
Never.
Never. No one does.
Is there some in
Never.
your fruit basket?
Of course, this is how apricots are getting
Yeah.
through. They put them in fruit baskets, so you get them accidentally, or they get them in yogurts. When you get like a pack of 4 variety, there's always an apricot. And I
hate that.
I have currently got 3 apricot yoghurts, all straining at the sell-by-date leash. Because I've eaten the other 3 yoghurts and thought,
And you don't want the apricot?
I don't want the apricot, I'll just get some.
They're the Montelamar of the yoghurt world.
They're not...
That's the chocolate no one eats.
Oh, is it?
So in the 4-pack, I mean, the other ones are like, you know, raspberry...
Strawberry.
Lemon?
Sometimes a lemon.
Never lemon.
Oh, no.
Raspberry, saying they're raspberry, strawberry, blackcurrant. You can't wait to get at them. A 4th one, apricot. It's like the cores. It is the Tom core of the yoghurt pack.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, boys. I need to confide in you this week about my plumber.
You sure you want to say this on air?
Yes. There's been an absolutely... I'm calling it catastrophic, the incident I've had.
You've had a catastrophic incident with your plumbing?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You may recall I was
I suppose
having...
you're of that age now.
Let's not talk about age this week.
That which should not be said.
You may recall I was having issues with my ensuite. Did I tell you that?
I know, I don't know if you did, actually. Did you?
I had flooding in my ensuite, so it needed seeing to.
Okay.
So my Lithuanian...
There's been a lot of flooding just lately, though. The country's been ravaged.
Exactly. My Lithuanian was unavailable. Remember him? I tried to set him up with my cleaner. Do you remember him?
Oh, yes, when you had the staff.
Yes, yeah.
It's your staff are like a World Cup wall chart.
She's Bulgarian, he's Lithuanian. I just thought they might get
Let's
on.
call the whole thing Eastern Europe. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, he was unavailable, so I had to employ a random. I didn't know much about this random. I'm going to have to change his name, I think.
From the Google.
Because what I'm about to tell you... what should we call him, Frank? You're good at thinking up random names.
Let's call him Lee Harris.
Okay, so Lee Harris. He's been avoiding me a bit. He's been a bit erratic. You know when you're seeing someone and they start to go off you?
Yeah.
And it keeps...
Well,
every time you ring... No, but what I'm saying, I'm comparing...
You do get it with tradesmen, I agree.
Yeah, you do,
Yes.
exactly.
Yes.
So it's a little bit... The Vodafone you have called is unavailable. Sort of every time I call.
Yeah.
The texts don't get answered. It's
Okay.
like it's getting very like I'm Lee Ryan's friends with benefit. I don't like it. So it finally reached something of a head. It's been 6 weeks now since this ensuite has been flooded. The excuses, I've had enough. He finally was meant to come out. He said, "I'm so sorry. I forgot your keys." I said, "Right." I had a phone conversation with him. I remained patient during the phone call, but at the end of the conversation, I muttered under my breath something about him.
Okay,
And-
are you prepared to say what?
Yeah, I'll tell you what I said. I said, "Idiot," as I replaced the handset.
Oh.
And
But Lee was furious.
he was, because I received a phone call 2 minutes later
Right.
saying, "Excuse me, did you just call me an idiot?"
Oh, no.
And I've never been so shocked in my life. I did not expect to be confronted. Do you know what I did? I said, "No."
Told a fib.
I styled it out. I thought,
I was
Hang on.
talking to myself.
You didn't style it out. You lied. That's not the same as styling it out.
Hitler, I lied big. I said, "No, you're going
Yeah.
mad." I don't know what I gaslighted him.
You and Lance Armstrong. One big lie.
I said, "I don't know what you're talking about. You must be going mad." He said, "I definitely heard idiot. I definitely heard idiot." I said, "No, you heard wrong." And then there was a silence, and I said, "Okay, is that okay then?" Okay, bye-bye.
Oh, no. Did you consider the old party line? I've got a party line. That'd be
Oh, yeah.
Jeff having an argument with his girlfriend.
But you know what, Frank? I did think...
You know what, we've spoken about party
Yeah, I know
lines.
party
When
line.
you
Chat-
have to-
line.
Yeah,
you
they say-
share your line with someone
But-
else to save money.
I wanted you boys to think, what should I have said? What could I have said? What does idiot sound like? I could have pretended I was saying. That's what you need to think about for me. You're fast wits. I'm sure you can come up with something.
Yes.
Doesn't rhyme with a lot, does it?
No, but I could have
When
said
you
something
think about
like Inuit and pretended I was doing a currency exchange.
Of course,
Yeah, you
yeah. I'd
could have
like
said,
these
yeah.
euros changed to Inuit, please.
It's so cold in here. It's like an Inuit.
In it.
Yeah.
In it.
In it.
In
You
it.
got away with.
Yeah.
Could have pretended I was Cockney.
I can't. There's nothing.
Idiom?
There's nothing. Idiom, yeah. We're just discussing the... No.
No.
Frank
Frank Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So I've been talking about my run-in with the, what did you call him, Frank? My new plumber, who I hate. I actually hate him.
Lee Harris.
Lee
Well,
Harris. I
yeah.
can't bear Lee Harris.
We've had advice, actually. Emily, you could have gone with idiot. No, I've got the news on in the background and they must have said Idi Amin.
So no one's going to believe that one. What about In It Hot?
In
Oh, In It Hot. In It Hot.
In it
Well,
hot.
this time of year.
The tone. In It Hot. Well, no, because you're
In It
having
Hot.
trouble with your pipe.
I think my tone would have been in it hot.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Glenn Bateman. Emily should have claimed she said in a bit, as in see you in a bit.
That'd be
Okay,
all
let's
right.
try that. Imagine I was doing it. In a bit.
Yeah,
I
that's...
don't think I'll get away with it. It's my tone, my angry tone. Well, it didn't end there.
Oh, no.
So, after this excruciating
What about
conversation...
Guillemot?
Guillemot.
Yeah.
Like,
They're birds, aren't they?
I'm a keen twitcher.
Yeah. No, just one just went Guillemot. Sorry, there's a Guillemot that's been on my lawn. We've just had it seeded and it's on there.
Yeah.
It's been driving me crazy.
And then the
There you
next
go.
time you speak to him, just throw in a different bird.
I don't think he
Peregrine Falcon. Sorry, you know what I'm like.
And it's what did you call me? Yeah.
I say, sorry, that's just one of my boyfriends.
Bastard.
You are.
That is a bird.
I know it is. Oh, dear.
Hold on,
So-
I think we're going to have to go to adverts, but we can roll on.
Okay.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
I am Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. You can text the show on 81215. We haven't had too many texts this morning. I'd like more. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio or email the Absolute Radio website. There.
We
It's
have
done.
actually been receiving some texts about what Emily could have pretended she said instead of idiot on the phone to her plumber.
In case you've just tuned in, Emily accidentally called her plumber an idiot. Well, not accidentally
Yeah.
called him an idiot, but hadn't quite put the phone down.
And I got overheard, and I styled it out.
498 has come up with the excellent suggestion. You could have said you were on a horse and said giddy up. Giddy up.
Giddy up.
I think that's great that you were taking calls from the staff whilst on a horse. That's brilliant.
What you could have done as well, you could have said, when he phoned back and said, did you call me you could say, just a minute, Rupert, don't ever call me an idiot again. And then he would have... I had a terrible one. When I lived with David Baddiel, he was phoned up by a tradesperson who was working at the house. And they'd been working there for a while. They'd been working there, I suppose, for 2 weeks, which gave me enough time to write some songs about them.
Oh, no.
Quite disparaging songs,
Yeah.
which I sang quite a lot around the house. And this person phoned, and Dave spoke to him for a bit, and he put the phone down. As soon as he put the phone down, I started singing one of my songs, because obviously it made me think of them. And then I realised he'd put the phone... he'd actually gone to speak to them on the extension. He'd just laid the phone down at the side so they could hear me sing.
They didn't hear the
Not
song.
only to be talked about, but to hear yourself being sung about.
Someone had bothered to sit down and write a song
Exactly,
about
it
you.
rhymed and scanned beautifully and was extremely insulting.
Did they ever comment on it?
You know what? They didn't.
You see, that's what it should be like.
That's what most
dignified.
people would do.
That is
They shouldn't
dignified.
talk back.
You know, I once got caught making a face about a boss. A boss when I worked in Eureka Children's Museum in Halifax.
Oh, whoa,
Hey, whoa, where does this come from?
And,
Eureka Children's Museum in Halifax?
I've never
certain
met-
I've told you
No
this story
way.
Frank,
before.
did
She
you
told
know
me
who
off.
used to work
No.
in Eureka Children's Museum?
No.
And I just say, in Halifax.
She told me off
Didn't
and then
know.
turned
What
her
did you
back
do
on
there?
me. I was like just like
Entertainer?
just like a staff member, just working.
Did you wear a polo shirt?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So she told me off and then turned her back to me, and I went. And with her back to me, she went, "You know, I'm looking at your reflection in this glass." Yeah.
And what did you say?
I said, "I'll get my coat," and I left. I think
You should have said, actually, I've suffered with these spasms for years.
that would have been a good way.
Oh,
I would have
God.
been literally facing it out, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Frank, I love that the cockerel's at the Children's Museum.
The Eureka Children's Museum.
Yeah.
And it is quite a discovery.
I'll bet they'll be pretty pleased that they're getting any national press. That's quite good for them, isn't it? It's still open.
Are they still open?
I believe they're still
Is it a
open.
good job?
I bet you can get Matey in the shop.
I bet you can.
You could get Matey anywhere.
Frank, apparently Flair's nightclub is now called Pop World.
Oh.
Your star...
Pot World.
No. Your star is outside the comedy club, which is now called Highlights.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I like the sound of that.
Yes. Good. I'll be able to find it then.
Yeah.
I wonder if people ever meet at my star. You know, I'll see you.
Yeah.
That's a good...
I'll see you at Frank Skinner. How lovely that would be. I like this.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Can identify the fruit that you ate from the fruit basket?
Green, hard, it looked like a cross between an avocado and a lime from the outside, and then pink
It wasn't
flesh.
an avalime, was it?
An
avalime. I just made it up. Avocado and lime mixed together.
No, I don't think it was an
like word
avalime.
immersion.
No.
Avalime. I'm a bit concerned about this because I think I might be about to have another Descartes moment.
Oh, no.
Chris Whalers emailed, green skin and pink flesh could have been a pomelo?
I don't know that.
That's less embarrassing
I
than
have to say, I
Descartes.
feel better about not knowing what it was, because we've had like 7 or 8 suggestions.
Yeah.
Most of them have been completely different.
They've all differed. Yeah.
We've had
Green.
another...
Could it be the Hulk? Could I have ate the Incredible Hulk?
Dr. David
Were
Banner.
you really full afterwards?
Well, I was full for a bit, but then when I calmed down, I felt hungry again.
Were your jeans frayed, but you were still able to do up the button at the waist?
Yeah, the button never went.
Extraordinary.
But, you know, that's...
Brilliant.
But big, hulky, strong men, their waist still stay
That's
slim,
true,
so I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's all right. I accept that. I've always
We've-
accepted that with the Hulk.
Frank, we've had another fruit-based missive.
Okay.
This time from someone of your cloth. 894. Hi Frank, not strictly related to your strange fruit question, but years ago I was a novice in a Catholic order, and one week we got 12 star fruit in for a bit of a change.
12 star fruit of the Catholic order. I wonder if 36 kings turned up.
Little religious joke there.
Thank you.
They were revolting. Really, really bad. So bad.
I know what he means.
He said none of us touched the things. However, it turned out brilliant when we had guests for meals, as we usually ended them with fruit. So we'd give the visitors a star fruit and watch them trying to eat them through gritted teeth, trying not to offend their religious hosts. Always finish off your food. It's probably right that I didn't go on to take vows.
They are. They're not. They look better than they are. The clergy. No, star fruit. They do. If you're trying to eat one without a nut, they've got a lot of hard bits and stuff. They're rubbish. There you go. Let's hope that one of the adverts in the next block I'm playing isn't for star fruits, or there'll be like some bit of a political meeting at Absolute this week. Apparently, he slagged off star fruits just before the big star fruit advertiser did their thing. We'll see what happens.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
See if you can identify the celebrity that I'm quoting. I'm very, very depressed.
Woody Allen.
No, it wasn't. I had a feeling even as I was doing it, this
Do it
is going to
again.
sound like Woody Allen.
Very, very depressed.
That sounds
it David
like Woody
Baddiel?
Allen. No,
Rain Man.
no, I'll tell you, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Quentin, not Quintin.
Quentin.
Quentin. It's Quentin.
Let's call the whole thing off.
That's a different name, Quentin.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah, like Quentin Hogg.
Quentin Tarantino.
Thank you.
I don't know why. It's spelled the same, isn't it?
No, it's not. There's an E and not an I.
Pardon? Okay, Quentin Tarantino.
I know you
Every
mean.
day's a school
Yeah.
day, isn't it? As you say, Frank.
Shouldn't
Yeah.
be on a Saturday.
Posh school, isn't it?
Should be on a Sunday.
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to say this properly now. He's ditched his next film idea because he gave
yes.
he gave the script out to 6 people and it's been leaked. And so he said, right, I'm not doing it then.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Can
funny.
I say I so identify
I was
with
just
that.
going to say it's the sort of thing you do.
It
You don't
would.
mind me
Oh,
saying.
okay, well, let's not do the film. Then people say, yeah, but I don't care. I'm not doing it now. That's
Yeah.
exactly. It reminds me of when our Keith offered me a I really wanted a Rolo, I think it was.
Yeah.
I really wanted a Rolo. And he'd ate about 5 before he'd given me one. I was desperate. I was salivating. And he held out the packet. And as I reached for the Rolo, he withdrew, you know, that joke.
Yeah.
And I said, OK, I don't want one now. And he said, no, come on, have one. And in the end, he put one on a plate, on a tea plate, so that he couldn't possibly withdraw, and went to the other side of the room.
What did you do?
I still wouldn't have it.
And he's never
And
eaten a Rolo since.
I really wanted it. I really wanted
Not
it.
one.
But, no, not after that.
You won't have one now, will
Little
you?
insight into living with Frank Skinner there.
No way, Jose.
Can I tell you what I like is that Quentin has got, he's drawn up a list of suspects. There's 6 suspects.
Yeah, it's good, this.
And they're all famous, which is not so brilliant. Of who
Named and
leaked the
shamed
script.
as well.
Yeah.
That's how big he is, so that he can incriminate the celebrity world.
Great.
His suspects include Michael Madsen. I like him. He was handsome when he was younger.
We all were.
Suspects include Bruce Dern
Yes.
and Tim Roth, but he's ruled out Tim Roth. He
Yeah.
said the one that I know didn't do this is Tim Roth.
Yeah,
I think it's Tim Roth.
It'll be Tim. Almost.
Oh yeah, you're so right.
I think we all now think it's
It's
Tim
like the
Roth.
mousetrap.
Imagine if it is Tim Roth and he's thinking, oh God, he said that I didn't do it to everyone. When I confess now, is he going to see me
Yeah.
even worse? Why did he have to name me?
The best thing is, as a punishment to actors everywhere, he
Yeah.
said, I tell you what, I'll do it as a book now.
Yeah. Awful, innit?
That's great.
So in a year's time, we're going to be able to see Michael Madsen and Tim Roth and Bruce Dern all in the job centre going, we should be doing that Hateful Eight film with Quentin now.
Yeah.
Quentin.
Yeah.
One of them will correct.
Yeah, and one of
Thank
them will
you.
say, oh, you mean that multi-best-selling novel that he's written?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Massive
Bigger
smash.
than the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
Well, he did indicate who he thought it might be.
He thinks it's Durno,
He
does he?
no, like it's some friend of yours.
Yeah, he thinks it's...
Does he
He thinks it's Bruce Dern, yes.
Who's and he thinks it's his agent, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love the book thing. I tried to write a novel because I'd just done a sitcom and I've been
I
working with
remember that.
actors for 3 months. I thought next time I have an idea, I'm write a book. Because, you know, somebody says, yes, why am I sitting on this chair though and not that chair? And actors, they don't take mind your own business as an answer to that. They want some... I know you two are both actors, but...
I wasn't that kind of actor, can I just say? I was more like,
what's
do you want me
that-
to say it looking that way? Okay. that's the kind of actor I am.
I seem to remember that you were the kind of actor who said, look, I do jokes for a living. I think I know what's funny and what isn't. Okay.
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
You know, the Cockerel did his little Woody Allen for us earlier.
It was Quentin Tarantino. I'll do it again. I'm very, very depressed.
Woody Allen?
It's all right.
Well, 546 says, I thought the Cockerel's impression sounded like Blanche off of the Golden Girls. Oh.
A bit.
It's worth knowing that, though.
There's a funny thing in the newspaper article about where there's a picture of Quentin Tarantino looking really happy, and underneath there's the quote, I'm very, very depressed. Slightly jarring.
I'm totally with him, though. I'm glad it's happened, and I'm glad he's taken the massive step of turning it into a book instead of a film. I hope he doesn't change his mind.
Yeah, well, if he does, if it's a book, then that's good, because it's called The Hateful Eight. And
see-
I loved Famous Five, Secret Seven, so...
Yeah.
I did.
It's like when Enid Blyton got bitter, innit? Hateful Eight.
You see, if
Good
a
fun.
similar thing happened in this studio, let's say, amongst us, I would know I could trust you two. No offence to the ladies, but I
What,
think
to keep it secret?
Yeah, I think I would not suspect you'd be my Tim Roths. I would not suspect you at all, either of you. You're quite honest characters.
I am.
It's not funny, but it's true.
I'm phenomenally good at keeping secrets. In fact, I keep people's secrets so well. I've had people... I can think of a couple of examples when people have got a bit miffed that their secret wasn't so potent and interesting that I had to reveal it to
Yes, I
someone.
know what you mean.
And they'd say, have you told? And I'd say, no. I remember saying to someone... No, to be honest, I'd forgot all about it. They were absolutely outraged. They would rather I'd betrayed them.
That's the best way of keeping a secret, isn't it? To instantly forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel them burning at me to get them out. If someone says, don't tell anyone that, I just don't.
If someone says to me, look, you won't tell anyone, will you? I get very angry about that. I think that's basically saying I'm untrustworthy. You can't add a caveat. You either tell me or you don't. Sorry.
Having said that, I don't think Cocker was that pleased about me revealing the look I do at comedy for a living, so don't tell me what's funny.
I quite like.
Oh, you're all right with it? Okay, good. I'm glad. You're a good man.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I don't know if you boys have been reading about this character, the Iranian hermit. Have you heard about him?
Who hasn't?
Amu Haji.
Amu Haji. They're calling...
Never seen a better guy. Oh, no, sorry, number one super guy. We had a long debate on the show about the lyrics
We did.
to this jingle.
Hong Kong Phooey.
It's a Hong Kong Phooey.
Yeah.
And as my birthday gift, Emily has bought me a keyring that says number one super guy. So from now on, I'll know what the second line is.
You'll always know
of
it.
Hong Kong Phooey.
Amu
For
Haji.
Christmas, could you get me the second line of Frosty the Snowman?
Yes, I can arrange that.
Because for years I've been going, Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah. And the third line of Top Cat. I don't know if it's the third line, but they're providing it with dignity.
Yes,
bits,
that is a toughie.
So this character, Amu Haji, he's been called the world's most ineligible bachelor.
I love that.
I beg to differ, frankly.
Good.
That honour goes to some other guys that I know. But he has a pretty unorthodox lifestyle, it has to be said. He hasn't washed. There's no Matey here. He has not washed for 60 years.
And you can see the amazing thing is it's not like Sting, who I think hasn't washed for about 8 years.
Sting?
He still looks. Yes,
He doesn't
Sting
wash.
doesn't.
Is that true?
Doesn't believe in washing.
No.
Yeah, he's one of those tantric bathers.
I don't think there is
Yeah,
such a thing
two
as tantric
blokes in a pub.
Yeah, but this bloke, I mean, he's absolutely black with dirt. I mean, he's properly. As soon as I
love
saw
it.
him, I thought I'd love to get the brown sauce on him, see if that
Yeah,
works.
I would. His favourite hobby is puffing a pipe of animal dung.
Yeah,
Whose isn't?
Yeah. And he likes... do you know what he likes drinking?
I actually use an electric animal dong pipe nowadays.
Right,
Right, it's
yeah.
making me
Yeah.
It's all mod cons, isn't it?
Do you know what I like about him? You know what he likes to drink? His favourite tipple is rainfall from a rusty can.
Yeah.
That is a cheap date, if ever I've heard one.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's
And
my
he's-
round.
And he still gets less belly button fluff than the cockerel.
That's true. I bet that's true. You
I
know,
bet
we've had
it's
an
true.
email about belly button fluff saying that it is fabric from your trousers and underpants and t-shirt sort of working its way to your belly button. That's scientifically proven, apparently.
But why don't I get it then? I wear fabric.
Don't know. Have you got no hair? Have you got no body hair? Are you smooth? Have you got no body
Yes,
Are
yes, okay, I'm a reptile.
Sorry, I'm just
It's a
recovering.
bad time I fessed up. I mean, you know, I know there's been a few, the tongue is a bit on the long side. But, yeah, I'm a reptile.
That's what David Icke told me.
What about it?
He also... I've got so many facts about this man. I want to continue with them. He sleeps in a grave-like hole, it's
Yeah,
described
I didn't
as.
like the fact that they said that. They could have said something else, couldn't they? Like a bed-like hole. They could have compared it to anything.
They could have said hole.
I could have just said
a hole-like hole. Yeah.
Slept in a hole. I don't really need to know what kind of hole it is.
He loves rotten porcupine as well.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Do you think he's over-egging the pudding a bit with his,
Don't know if he likes eggs.
ineligibility?
Or pudding.
No, but I mean, if I hadn't washed for 60 years,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be thinking, I'll tell you what, I'm going to supplement this by smoking a pipe with animal dong. I think that's enough, isn't it?
You know how this started? He did a show in the same shirt for 3 days and then just lounged about in it.
Oh,
And he thought, this still smells
no.
fine. 60 years later, he's
And then
pushing on.
He ate some fruit that looked like rotten porcupine.
Oh, no, and it's the world's dirtiest man,
Frank,
which is what it says on my posters, of course.
What if he's...
What if he's...
What if he's a secret millionaire? I need to get in with him.
Oh, that would...
Because you can't judge them now.
We were talking about keeping secrets, but no one's ever kept a secret that well.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Don't you dare repeat what I just said to you. Right,
You know what? I couldn't hear it.
I'll quote it. Darling, that's because of how you were brought up. That's exactly what you said.
That's because he said he didn't like salad.
I said, I don't believe anyone actually likes salad. I don't condemn people for it. I eat salad, but I eat it because I think, I better have some salad, I suppose. I eat it like I would eat a paracetamol.
Really?
Yeah, I've never thought, just fancy a nice salad. Never. Ever. Hot
Okay,
day.
well, I feel the same about chip butties. There we
That's
go.
fine.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Really?
I'd never had one before Frank made me eat one.
Anyway, we've got
Okay.
we've
Gone
got
back to
completely
food.
food. This has been the food special.
We're going to do...
This is like The Verb with Ian McMillan. The Verb with Ian McMillan. Where they do a special theme every week and they say have
Ian
bees.
McMillan.
And people come on and do a poem about bees and someone's written a book about bees and then someone just talks about bees and their fabulous sound.
It's like if you had to have a theme for the...
bee, even the word bee sounds like a bee.
That's a great impression.
I love him.
Yeah, you need him to go really massively famous.
They're not be a massive star.
Yeah.
It's like QI, they do it a
So
letter each
if
week,
Golden
don't
Girls
they?
comes back, you'll be big.
Yeah, with my
your
impression of
Blanche.
Anyway, we're going to do a final email from Email Corner.
food themed?
It is food themed, actually. Leslie Sanford from Good Relation Brand Communications got in touch with Daisy about Weetabix. Hi Daisy, thanks for emailing me back. I think she wanted to get in touch with you via Daisy. Thanks for emailing me back. It was just that the guys at Weetabix, can I just say already, I love that phrase.
I like that also.
The guys
they
at
sound like
Weetabix.
the T-Birds. I imagine them. at
Aren't they
Weetabix.
those little skinhead men? Do you remember that?
I don't know.
These were little skinheads who advertised Weetabix.
I remember that, Frank.
No, I don't
Stickmen.
remember that.
They weren't stickmen, they
Oh.
were actual
Were
Weetabix,
they?
but they had like jeans on and braces.
They sound horrible. Okay, as you were.
Anyway, the guys at Weetabix were really keen to answer the questions Frank had regarding the size of the product, as they realise he thinks it may have got smaller over the years. They
do.
realise that. That's because you said, I think Weetabix has got smaller over the
Yes.
years. The truth is that Weetabix is still made the same weight and to the same regulations it always has been, meaning that the size of each Weetabix biscuit has remained consistent ever since the company started.
I suppose what's happened is I've got bigger.
That could be it.
Yeah.
In regards to who makes Weetabix, Weetabix is still produced at the same location in Kettering, Northampton. It has been since 1932,
Oh,
using
continuity.
wheat that is sourced from local farmers within a 50-mile radius wherever possible. We've also sent Frank his very own personalised pack of Weetabix to his agent, so
That'll
hopefully
have
he
two
will have
missing.
received this.
He'll have taken 15% out of that.
Yes, I did. I've got my personal. It's a Weetabix, a standard Weetabix box, except where it normally says Weetabix, in the same font it says Frank Skinner.
Oh, nice.
Oh, lovely, Frank.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what to do when I've eaten the Weetabix. What am I going to?
Ah.
I've been told off this, but just to balance what it was essential now become an advert for Weetabix. I have been told off this week for feeding Boz Weetabix by my girlfriend Kath because it contains both sugar and salt. Couldn't make their mind up, Weetabix. Oh, let's put sugar and salt in. Forget it. Anyway, thank you for that, and thank you. You know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out!
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.
Absolute Radio.